we are back again. He had to swap devices. So we pick up where we left off was I was saying that was overkill. I think your training, the amount of your training was kind of overkill, especially on days 2 and 5, which is arms and delts, I think is what you said.
Yep, arms and shoulders. Yep. Yeah, because I do basically unfucking believable. Is it frozen again?
No,
Oh, Jesus.
I just wasn't moving.
Okay. So for shoulders, I do a couple regular movements and then 2 heavy movements, and then it goes right to arms. And arms gets a lot of work because that's a big weakness for me. So just doing a fucking ton of work, and plus triceps get a ton of work anyways because there's comparatively biceps to triceps. Biceps have 2 muscle heads, whereas triceps have 3 muscle heads. They're like, that's hence the prefix of the word. So I spend a lot of time on those particular muscles right there.
So days 3 and 6 are what's your split? So I know you said 3 on 1 off. 3 on 1 off. What's your split?
No. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then it takes Sundays off.
Okay, so what's the other days?
Yeah, so 1 and 4 is chest, back, and abs. Abs is every single day. Every day that I'm in the gym.
Oh, yeah, we're doing fucking Arnold's thing. That's right.
Yes.
I forgot you were doing that. Okay, now this makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. Then 2 and 5 shoulders, arms, and then 3 is just legs. And actually, there's some lower back movements in there too, just for stability, like training and whatnot, trying to build that up.
So then what's 6?
3 and 6 legs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's 1, 2, and 3, and then it just repeats. That's all it is.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I mean that's, in my opinion, that's overkill. I get the work in the interior muscles, but the overall actual movements is quite a lot. If you're going to shock your body for a couple weeks, that's one thing. I think prolonged, though, I think that the strategy's got to be adjusted. That's my personal opinion, but I think it's probably interesting to go through that.
Yeah,
sure.
I just personally have been, 1, feeling good in my workouts, and 2, seeing results. So I'm just running it for now. Everything's on my own for now. I'm slowly in talks again with the former coach, so we'll see if that goes somewhere again. But
yeah,
right now everything's written by myself.
Nice. That's what's up. I mean, as long as it works, that's what matters, you know? As long as you're making the progress.
Buddy.
The natty daddy progress.
Natty daddy.
But cool. Well, we'll obviously, stay on top of what you're doing and seeing your progress over time. I'll be up, everybody listening, I'll be up in Massachusetts probably August 13th is what I'm looking at. Probably flying out. I looked at flights, probably flying out here, Charlotte, at like 6:30 on Sunday, to give myself time to come back from the show, recover, because it's so much on your body, and then fly out and head up north for a few days while my wife is in Jersey, training for work. So while she's gone, I'm thinking I'm going to head up north back home for a few days just to see some, see you, Stoph, and see some friends and my family again just for a little bit, because why not, since I'll just be home alone. Makes sense. So I'll be up there, so we'll train. We've joked about it. I'll be stage conditioned when I come up, so you guys will see a diced version of myself that you guys have never seen before. So that'll be interesting.
I mean, I'm year-round Olympia ready, so that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, definitely. No, but I'll also be tan as fuck too because of the spray tan and everything. So it'll be interesting. But as far as the program goes right now, last week I mentioned I'll give you guys an update on how I'm feeling with everything. So last week I recorded, I want to say it was actually Friday when I recorded, Friday or Saturday. I forget what day it was. So basically the plan now, what I'm on right now is 40 micrograms of Clen was added, 300 milligrams of test has been in there for a few weeks. And then also 37.5 micrograms of T3 and 50 micrograms of T4. T3, T4 is thyroid, and Clen is clenbuterol, which is a cutting agent. So as far as how I'm feeling, today's been very rough. Kept coach updated. My digestion has sped up drastically. We've had a lot of bowel movements, and not pleasant ones either. It's been very hard on my stomach. My stomach's all fucked up. You and I, Stoph, talked about that prior to recording, but yeah, I think it could be one of two things. It could be a stomach bug. I'm hoping it's not. I'm hoping that this is just my digestion catching up to the anabolics that I've been taking, because what happens is, especially with your thyroid, which directly affects your metabolism, your thyroid acts on a feedback loop. So when your thyroid detects that you have T3 and T4 in your system, it'll shut itself down, much like testosterone is. But what's different is that when you take out T3, T4, you can wean yourself off. You don't need to do a PCT. You can just kind of slowly taper off, and you're fine. Once it detects that you don't got the T3, T4 in your system, it'll start producing again. So it works on a feedback loop. So I think that's what it was. I think it just took a few days. I started at Tuesday, so I think it just took a few days for it to really notice that I had it in my system. So like I think it shut down. My guess is it probably shut down Tuesday, Wednesday, and started picking back up Thursday with the added supplementation. So that's been very interesting to go through today. Definitely can't trust any farts, that's for sure, because I can't tell what's a fart or not. So end up on the toilet quite a bit, which is not fun. But as far as Clen goes, we started at 40 micrograms every week, starting tomorrow, Saturday, and then every Saturday after that, going up by 20 micrograms up until the show. So tomorrow will be 60 micrograms. As far as how I'm feeling, I'm very receptive to stimulants in a good way, in a sense. So like really, because Clen is a stimulant, I feel energetic on it. I actually like it because it gives me a lot of energy in the morning to get going for the day. And I could definitely feel it today, having not taken it, because we're doing 3 days on, 1 day off, because it is so harsh in your system. So I could feel not having it today. But definitely making really good progress right now, making daily changes, and we're lighter now than we have been in a very long time. My last weigh-in was Wednesday. It was like 189.8 or something, which was the goal. The goal was to get under 190 as fast as possible, essentially. And the last time I was under 190 was March of 2022. So it's been almost a year and a half, give or take, since I've been under 190. I've been over 190 for the longest time. But we're back under that now. I'm in better condition than I was at my show by a long shot. My fasted weight for the show is 193. And I'll be very surprised if I'm heavier than 187 tomorrow for my weigh-in, especially with all the bowel movements today. I think I dropped a lot of weight from that. Not in a good way. It was not fun weight to drop, but I think that's kind of where I'm at with that. And then Sunday, this is the fun part. We're going to be adding 300 milligrams of Masteron and also 150 milligrams of Tren. So we'll be adding that back in. So that'll be fun. And then 3 weeks out, we're going to add in Winstrol. So I sent a sheet over to you, Stoph, not too long ago. I got to add Winstrol to that list, but or a screenshot, at least. I sent a screenshot to you recently, so got to add Winstrol to that list. But yeah, so it's very interesting right now where we're at and making a lot of progress, and it's a lot of fun. So
Starting to look like a Liver King email.
yeah, dude, for real though, it's really starting to pick up. I'm looking at the sheet right now. Let me see. Let me zoom in here. Yeah, so let me see. Yeah, so I got to change out Trend to... No, actually, that's proper. What I have on the list is proper. So, and then I got to add, what's it called? Winstrol to it for 3 weeks out. So really, at the end of the day, we're talking about like, even with Winstrol, we're talking about like just about a gram of anabolics. Without Winstrol, we're talking like about 700 milligrams, give or take. A little over 700, maybe closer to like 800 milligrams, which really isn't that much. When you're talking about prep cycles, most guys go way overkill. We're talking grams of shit to get them ready for the show, where in our case, it's really not that much, and we're responding like crazy to it. So the progress is definitely interesting and definitely fun to watch and see over time. And I'm looking forward to the next 5 weeks of possibly increasing cardio, decreasing food, and then also uh, adding in Masteron and Trend, which I really, really like. I respond very well to DHTs and Trend in general. So the thing I like about Trend the most is that it helps me enjoy training again. Where right now I just kind of feel like I'm slugging through training sometimes. Granted, I'm going to the second gym, so Mega Flex, the gym I go to, there's North Lake location and a university location. I'm going to the university one lately, and that's a lot of fun. So I'm excited for that. So like that's given me drive to get to the gym, but Trend just makes it just genuinely fucking enjoyable to lift. I've said it before. I would like, especially right when you start taking Trend, it feels like training is better than sex. Like it's so good. It's so unbelievably good. I can't even explain it. It feels really, really good. So I'm excited for that. Again, we're increasing it slightly from previous show, but really not by that much. But Trend is what I really find enjoyable. But Trend does fuck with your head. I did notice that previous show. There were instances where I had these scenarios in my head that just weren't real. And I had to kind of reel it back in my head and was just like, this is not real. It's not real. This isn't the reality. This is just the Trend talking. And I would tell my wife like what I was thinking happened. And, she'd be like, wow, really? That's not at all what it was. And I was like, I know, it's just fucking, that's what it felt like, but I know it's not it. So I could see it being, in quotations, the relationship destroyer for sure. But you got to be able to have the mental capabilities to take it. You got to be able to keep yourself mentally grounded. Otherwise, it'll take over your life easily. So, I mean, considering that Trend was designed to build muscle on cattle, I'm pretty sure that it's not necessarily good on our bodies. So, not something you should run for a long time. And really, we're utilizing Trend in the perfect way. 5 weeks out is what most bodybuilders say is when you should start taking Trend. And really not much of it too. A lot of them will say like 100 to 150 to 200 maybe in that ballpark is like the most you should ever take. Anything more is just overkill. So we're right in the right spot and we're taking exactly what we need. And this is what I need to do for my body in order to compete properly because I don't have the natural genetics to get me there. But the previous show, what we did see is that really we got just conditioning to bring to the show in order for us to probably win. I think that's really the ball game we're aiming for here. It's just getting the conditioning down, making sure that we peak properly as well. I didn't really peak that well at the previous show, so making sure we peak in a better way, and then really just performing as best I possibly can. So I really, really, really want to win this show overall, and that's really what I'm betting like my affirmation off of for like the previous like almost 3 years with my coach is like, this is the show we're putting everything into. And this is where I'm going to earn like my spot within the sport is winning this overall. Like that's the way I'm looking at it. And I looked at last year's results and I definitely think I can win novice. I'm very, very confident in winning open. Like I'd be very surprised if I don't win open. Overall is really the only place I think that like we might potentially not get first, but I'm still aiming for first. I'm still aiming for everybody else to compete second. You know, I'm not going to let that bring me down. I just think realistically, I think overall is what we're aiming for, not necessarily open class or novice. And especially with the conditioning we have now. I mean, if I stepped on the stage a few weeks ago with this conditioning, I probably would have gotten at least 2 places higher in true novice, and we'd have to take a look at open class to see where I would have placed there. But I think true novice, I definitely would have placed much higher if I had the condition that I have now. And we still have 5 weeks, so very exciting stuff. But yeah, so that's where we're at now. That's my update for the week. So when you guys are listening to this, I'll be back on Masteron and Trend.
Now, does only the overall winner get the sword, or is it
Yes.
each division?
It's the overall winner that gets the sword. So I'm really aiming for that fucking sword, dude. Everybody knows that show for that sword. Everybody, like, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm doing Excalibur to like people here, and they're like, that's the one with the big sword, right? I'm like, fucking yeah, I'm aiming for it, dude. I'm going for it.
even if they know nothing about bodybuilding, Excalibur in itself is like in
Yeah,
mythology just a cool sword, so people
yeah,
know what it is.
exactly. The winner of the overall in men's physique in the previous show I did, I'm actually like okay with not getting that trophy. Like I wanted to win, obviously, but like I would have been a little butthurt if I got that trophy because it was a shield and it looks like the Legend of Zelda logo, like or something. Like it looks like it's from Legend of Zelda. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Previous years, it was a double-sided axe that had a skull in the middle. I'm like, that's fucking sick. This year, it's a shield that's like red and blue. I'm like, what the? That's fucking whack. But
That's not the one you
Excalibur,
just did.
yeah, that's the one I just did. Let me see if I can look it up. 2023 NPC Victory Classic. I got to look at the results. I think it's on NPC News. Yeah, you can actually see they all won Redcon 1 bags. I already have that bag. So there's that. I wouldn't even be using that bag because I already fucking have it. Yeah, so Matt, that's not it. Yeah, so they all won bags, but where's the actual like? There's a photo online. I don't know where, but there's a photo where it shows everybody up on stage who won, and the men's physique winner overall was holding up the shield, and it just was not a very good
Well, maybe it's based off of what's
trophy.
popular. The new Zelda game just came out, so
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, so the guy who won overall there, I think he went to go to Universe, which is a week later. Let me see. NPC Universe. Let's see what the results were. I don't see any results. It was June. Yeah, it happened a week ago, so they maybe just haven't posted the results yet. I think it took them a little while to post. Like, I think it took them a couple weeks to post. Like they just posted it like beginning of this week. I think was the results of Victory Classic. Let me see. August. Okay, it's not showing past shows. Oh, there it is. Contest info for NPC Universe. So pro card. I don't think he won pro card. I don't think. I'm pretty sure cuts. So for those that don't know, in the men's physique world, Cuts. His name is Cuts. His Instagram is Cuts. I forget his actual name. He is like the name right now, the big name in men's physique as far as like coaches go. A lot of his athletes are winning, and I think he won like a few of his athletes won like their classes in men's physique. So I'm pretty sure that the guy who won overall at Victory Classic didn't win his pro card at Universe, which is what he was aiming for. But I mean, it is what it is. It's the placing and the decision of the judges. But yeah, you could look up my photos. They're not that good at all. You can look at me on their website. I did not have like any fucking conditioning. Well, I mean, I had conditioning. Abs were kind of there. I was just flat as fuck. But like realistically, I was the biggest one up there, and my legs filled my board shorts out like a motherfucker. Here, let me send this to you. There you go.
I
You
mean,
got the photo now.
that's one of the toughest things I find with that division. Like, you want to, you like personally want to have that overall physique, but as a whole, the division just kind of doesn't want it.
Yeah, exactly. I want to fill out my board shorts, so I make sure to push legs in a good way to build bigger legs because there's
Those,
nothing worse than having small
those,
legs.
those, those are spandex shorts, my friend.
Dude, literally, like you could
Those
like
are
almost see
skin
my
tight.
fucking butthole. Like they're so tight. Like they're 28s and I fit in them no problem, but like they fucking were so tight around my legs. But that was kind of the goal. I wanted them to stretch out, and my legs are even better now. Like at the time of the show, God, my right calf looks so much better than my left. What the fuck? At least in that photo. But
Yeah.
my legs now compared to my legs then are in a completely different world. I mean, yesterday I saw like a spider web going across my quads, and I didn't even have really any veins going into that show in my legs besides my calves. My calves always have veins, but like, so like I already know going into this next show that we're bringing much better conditioning than we have in the past, at least with Victory Classic. So that's exciting, at least to me. But we'll
Hell
see how
yeah.
the show goes. I'm going
And
to do the best I possibly can.
we'll be doing the podcast with a sword. You'll be
Yeah,
balancing it in the picture somehow.
yeah. We gotta figure out when we're recording that. We might have time the next day after the show potentially. I don't know when my wife's flying out.
I was gonna
Well,
say
maybe
you're gonna be up here.
yeah. After she flies out, if I'm if flying up there that evening, then she maybe we can record it when she leaves or something, and I'll have the sword with me. That'd be the goal.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll see how Universe or Excalibur goes. But it's like it's making a name for myself at this point, and it's also representing my coach. And we're in such a better place now than we were then. And looking at photos between now and then, even just in the gym with the pump and all of that, like good lighting and everything, it's just night and day. And I'm also going into it without a sunburn. I mean, I didn't have a sunburn then, but like because I had a sunburn not too long before the show, a few weeks really, it showed in the tan. It wasn't very noticeable, but like we're gonna go into this next show with like properly balanced skin and everything too, and I'm gonna have a much better beard and all that shit. I'm gonna be bald as fuck, so it'll be good. It'll be a good time. So I'm excited for it. But it just takes a lot of effort to get there, and we're just pushing it, and um, I'm looking forward to potentially winning my first show, winning my first class, and aiming for a national show after that. Really.
You got to shave your head and leave just the spot on the back like Kai Green.
Yeah,
Just the
just
one.
grow out that one little spot. You know how many awkward hair phases he probably went through? Like he probably had to grow all of it out and then just like shave it one day.
I'm willing
Honestly.
to bet it was extensions at some point to
Yeah.
get past the awkward phase.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That'd be a good chance. Wait, where's your hair? Oh, okay. I just noticed your hair wasn't dangling. I couldn't see it
Yeah,
or anything.
I'm still in my gym attire basically.
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to cool down after the gym outside of my nap, and
Yeah.
yeah, so my hair's still tied back because the way Empire is like in the summertime, it feels like a vintage gym because there is so little air circulation in there.
Hmm.
It's like the rumors of Ronnie's gym when he was training down south, like how there was no
Hmm.
AC or anything and what was that? No, Arizona, Texas,
He's
one
in,
of
yeah, I think he's like Austin or maybe he was San Antonio. It
yeah,
might have been San Antonio.
and how hot their summers are, like just brutal summers. So
Yeah.
we got that at Empire. So I'm sweating buns in there. So I my hair is always tied up.
Yep. Yeah. The gym I go to now doesn't have any AC. They have the garage doors open and it is fucking hot. Especially
Mm,
being July right now.
I like it though.
It's what's that?
I love being in a hot, stuffy gym.
Yeah, yeah, me too. I enjoy it much more. Here's actually the results of the universe. Here it is. Here it is. Wait, so he was in my class, I think. Maybe he might have been E. Wait, who won? Fuck, I gotta go back to fucking NPC Universe. Um, yeah, I love or not NPC Universe, fucking Victory Classic. I love just sweating my balls off when I'm lifting. It just feels good. I just like it. Um,
Yeah.
let me see. Brian Jenkins is his name. Um, not even seeing it. Where the fuck is it? I could have sworn he did Universe. Maybe he didn't. Um, yeah, I'm not even seeing it. Men's Physique Open Class B, Class E, Class D. Yeah, I'm not even seeing his name. So he
Oof.
definitely didn't. If he did go, he definitely didn't win. I know that. I'm just not seeing it. Um, open class. How fucking tall do you have to be in open class H? Like,
Is that me?
Probably. That's probably like 6'3" and up, chances are. But top two of every class at that show gets pro card, I believe. Which is fucking absurd to me. Like that's so absurd. Because it's like fucking two people competed in Masters 70 plus. So the guy who got first of the two, which was a clear fucking decision, because when you score, if you guys are ever looking at bodybuilding scorecards, the lower the score, the better. It's like golf. It's when somebody, so if you have like, let's say 10 people, they add up the total number of points based off the placing. So if I was like, oh, this guy's first and this guy's 10th, the guy in first gets 1 point and the guy in 10th gets 10 points. The lower the points, the better the placing. So when you see 5 points for one guy and 10 for the next, it's a clear decision on who won, because all 5 judges said first, all 5 judges said second. So it's like this guy who got first, clearly, and most of them are like that. Most of them are like clear decisions. Some of them are kind of eh. But like that guy won first of 2 and got his IFBB pro card. Like it's so fucking watered down now. And you talk to any bodybuilder who's pro, especially, and they'll be like, dude, it's fucking ridiculous. And all these kids, I was talking to someone recently, and everybody just expects that when you get a pro card, you're going to start making money off bodybuilding. And like, that's not the reality
Nope.
at all. It fucking doesn't mean anything now. When you get your pro card, it don't mean shit. It's just something to put in your bio on Instagram at this point. So like when you're fucking like, you got to have a social following. I was talking to someone who's a pro in men's physique, and he's talking about that. And he was like, you get your pro card and no one cares. Like it's a congratulations at first, and then all of a sudden it just falls off. Oh, maybe he did masters. I think he's on the older side. Maybe he did masters. So it's fucking watered down, and it doesn't mean you're going to make money off of bodybuilding. It doesn't. You have to have a social following. You need to have. Yeah, he got second. There it is. Masters 35 plus D. He got second in masters. Not even open. He didn't do open. He just did masters. He was 1 place off pro. That sucks. But yeah, so it just sucks
The
because
real money, the real money is in sponsorships.
yeah, absolutely. That's where you make all of your money. They pay you monthly. They pay you in supplements themselves, whatever it is. I mean, even just like getting paid in supplements, it's fucking sick, because you end up spending I end up spending so much money on like pre-workout and protein powder when I can have it, and like glucose pills and like multivitamins and shit. So like just to get a sponsorship like that would save me like tons of money. So that'd be great. But it just that's just not how it is. You don't just get a pro card and then get sponsored. You have to have a good social following. You have to have a good look, and you have to be able to bring them in money just through like endorsements and shit. I mean, my coach won the overall at arguably the biggest national show of the year, which is the national championships in Florida, and it's not like he had sponsorships knocking at his door after he won. You know, he got his pro card in
Yeah.
arguably the hardest show and won overall on top of that. And, you know, he's got one sponsorship with Evogen. So it's like, it's not like he's rolling in dough because he's got a million sponsorships now because he got his pro card. But pro card is also, it is a goal of mine, but it's not necessarily the end all be all, because when I get my pro card, I want to be able to compete in the pro level, and you don't just get your pro card and be able to do that. So when I get it, I want to be able to compete in it, or not take that much longer to put on some size or whatever to compete in the pro level, because it's night and day. Like the pro competition is just a whole nother ball game. You ask anybody, ask any bodybuilder who's pro, and they'll tell you like it's fucking next level. Like it's a whole different world. It's like going from college baseball to like Major League Baseball. You're talking about the best of the best of every single college essentially, and the minor leagues is all competing in the MLB. You know, you're not competing at like the average. You're competing with the best of the best. So that's how the pros are. So it's a whole different world. It's all the best guys who won all the national shows and won all the pro cards, all coming together and trying to win. You know, you're facing against really, really good competition, especially with this new weight class change that they're going to be doing whenever that gets implemented. let me see, for men's physique. I want to see if they updated it. I'm not sure if they said anything about it. They're going to be adding classic physique. Sorry, not classic physique. Men's physique weight ranges. So that'll be interesting when they get that involved. Because that's going to make the competition that much harder. So we'll see how this goes. But it's exciting.
Yeah, I mean, are you ready for me to win my pro card before you, just on a height technicality? Because
Yes.
no one else is competing.
Yeah, because nobody else is. Yeah, nobody else is going after you. So like, you're the only one competing up on stage. We have to create a new class just because of this guy's height.
It's actually crazy. There's a dude at Empire that stands at like either 7 or 7'1", and it's absurd how tall he is. He's so goofy. He's not like, doesn't have a good build at all, but like he's just so tall, and like just bending down to grab like the bottom cable machine must be so much effort.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, so that's a lot. That's fucking huge, but he's gonna have problem bodybuilding. As far as what I was saying earlier, just because I just found it, class H is 6'1" and up, actually. So that's surprising. But what's weird is that, like, when I weighed in or did the check-in, my height was 5'10" and a half, which is surprising. But it says up to and including 5'10" and a half, over 5'10" and a half, up to and including 5'11" and a half. So it's like, which one do I go for? Do I stand up more straight and go for the 5'10" and a half or over 5'10" and a half? Or do I like slouch a little bit and go like for the lower height range, you know?
I stand tall and proud. Give me that Z division.
Yeah, you got to go all the way up to Z just to have that 7-foot motherfucker up there. But yeah, so transition of the century. This is the week. Today's July 7th. So this week, unfortunately, we lost a big influencer in the industry, Jo Lindner, Jo Aesthetics.
But we've talked about before on the podcast too.
Yeah, we've talked about him before. So unfortunately, he's no longer with us. If you're listening, you probably already know that by now. But figured we could talk about it, talk about what the current news is regarding it, and kind of talk about the potentials of what could possibly happen. So with that being said, go ahead, Stoph. You're much more of a fan of him than I ever was. So by all means, take it away.
The first thing we got was from Noel Diesel because we got a post from him on his Instagram. And, celebrities not fake their death, but, they'll put out shady posts sometimes and you can never tell if it's real. And the very first thing on Noel Diesel's post was, "This is not a joke, this is real." And it was on a story, so I don't know if it's still going to be up on his account. But basically, it just said, "Hey, basically this morning we lost Joe. He died after having an aneurysm. So he went in for, I think it was some kind of a kidney procedure, but he already was having struggles that entire year for. He tried to do PCT and he tried to get his natural testosterone producing again, but it just wouldn't, and his system was basically fucked because of it. And so it was impossible for him to hop off anything. And so he went in for a procedure, and there were just complications that arose, and he just passed away in the hospital with his girlfriend. And she already has a language barrier, so trying to understand her post was a lot harder than understanding Noel Diesel's. But basically, he just passed away with her, basically just holding each other, and it was a really, really sad moment. But obviously, for anybody who knows Jo Aesthetics, he biggest thing he's known for is the chest alien gains, which basically if he does like a chest spread with his arms out
like
to the striations just pop out. And if you want a really good video on it, look up Jo Aesthetics with Larry Wheels, because they both do a pec bounce to show off who's better, and then Joe goes like, "Hold on 1 second," and then he starts tapping his chest like it's a piano, and the striations are just bouncing around. it's a pretty interesting, a pretty nutty video. But yeah, he was outside of Urs probably the most well-known German bodybuilder, and obviously with my background in Germany, as I'm wearing my United States hat, but being a German background and dual citizenship, I obviously felt this one a lot harder. Joe never really made it made it big for bodybuilding. Like, he was a bodybuilder, but his on stage, he never could bring a good package when he was on stage. But he
Yeah.
was super well known for his alternate exercises that he would come up with, and just crazy ways to activate different muscles. And just an overall super positive dude. Like, there's a lot of dudes who go into the gym and will either let their ego take over because they can lift more weight, or they're better looking, et cetera, et cetera. Literally any reason for someone to start becoming a dick in the gym. And he had all that. He was strong. He had a great build. He had, muscle abilities that other people just didn't have. And he was still one of the nicest dudes in the gym. And a lot of his content is just trying to help people who are either new in the gym or new into bodybuilding, which, isn't something that we see a whole lot of. So it was certainly a sad loss to see. And Noel Diesel's actually taking a step back from content creation while the whole family and all them work through that. So we'll see what goes on from here. But in terms of German news, we're down to Urs.
Yeah. Urs is still, he's got a lot going for him, so really excited for his future. But yeah, so really at the end of the day, what ended up happening was had really, I mean, it in a sense, it could have been kind of accentuated by his lifestyle, but really at the end of the day, it could have just happened genetically. It was just his blood clot issues. 1 second, my wife's at the door. I'm coming.
You don't lock it at night half the time.
For a few hours, and I'm still recording, so I gotta go sit down. All right, I'm back. So, sorry, the door was locked and she couldn't get it open. So, it was a blood clot issue, is really what it was. And genetically, he was predisposed to it. His mother had blood clot issues. So even genetically, he was predisposed to potential issues there, and he was getting a bunch of microclots throughout his system, and his doctor was worried about it. People could speculate what could have added to it, whether it was his 4 vaccine shots, whether it was his anabolics that he was taking year round, the way he ate. Because, I mean, if you look up what his food plan was, it's fucking ridiculous. He started his day with a liter of coffee with milk. Like, that's how he started his day, which is a lot of coffee.
Oh,
and
that's how I used to be teaching.
Yeah, so this is just it's not the healthiest lifestyle, and staying that lean year round is not conducive to a healthy life and a long life. And that's the problem with social media, is that you have to keep up this image. And that was his problem, was that he had to keep up this image because this is what he was known for. It's his aesthetics. It's his leanness that he was known for. And also the alien gains that he had is actually really easily explained. It's literally just because of an electrolyte imbalance. That's all it is. His meal plan is so unbalanced with electrolytes, which is like salt and amino acids and basically fucking really at the end of the day, it's just salt. If you just have salt, you get a lot of electrolytes in your system. You drink a Gatorade and you're pretty much fine. That's what Gatorade's for, is electrolytes. And there's a lot of sodium in Gatorade. Same with like Liquid IV. Liquid IV is just straight electrolytes. That's all it is. And that's how you hold on to water and all of that. And that's how you avoid what's called muscle cramps. And that's what Alien Gains is muscle cramps. If you look at what a muscle cramp really actually is, that's exactly what his chest is doing. So there's an article on More Plates, More Dates' website, moreplates.moredates.com. Wow, it's weird saying that. That's what he says at the start of every video. Hey guys, it's Derek from moreplates.moredates.com. And today, so it's written by Derek, and he was talking about it, and he has experienced muscle cramps during dirty bulks where he ate excessive amounts of carbs and junk food, as well as highly aromatizing anabolic steroids, essentially. So another thing to consider as well is that it could have been the alien gains could have been something that he was taking. For instance, Clen. Clen is known for just literally creating cramps. Like you just get more cramps when you're on Clen. And I've noticed it today specifically. My abs have been cramping a little bit. My quads have been cramping from leg day yesterday. So that's also something else to consider as well. Is could have been what he was taking, but really at the end of the day, it's his alien gains isn't supposed to happen. That's not supposed to. It's not something you're supposed to have. But I think that people were very quick to jump to conclusions when he passed. I mean, I assumed it had to do something with his lifestyle. I wasn't sure. I was like, well, probably, but if it's not, then it's not, like Luke Sandow. Luke Sandow was the one that hit me hard. Kind of like how Joe Aesthetics hit you, Christoph. Luke Sandow died, I believe, on my birthday, I'm pretty sure, in 2020, shortly after COVID started. And he died. People thought it was because of his heart, because of his anabolics and the way he lived his life, blah, blah, blah. It was a suicide. He committed suicide. He killed himself. He overdosed. And so it's like it's easy to jump to conclusions super, super quick, especially for bodybuilders when that's not necessarily the case. Unfortunately, we lost him way too soon. He was only 30, which is very, very young, obviously. But, something that I kept saying when he died was heroes get remembered, but legends never die. And he's going to go down as a legend within the community. So he's never going to die. His content will always be around. People will always be talking about Joe Aesthetics. It's kind of like Rich Piana right now. Like he never actually died. He's still around. His content's still around. His essence, his memories, people's memories of him still live. So he'll never really actually die. He'll just he'll be remembered and cherished. So unfortunate situation, but it's something that happened recently. So I figured we'd bring it up.
And that being remembered thing is pretty wild for the time we're in because with social media, I mean, it's there forever regardless. So like,
yeah,
how many people this was something I thought about when I was, when we had our conversations about this topic and everything, but how many bodybuilders of, the golden era or even, times past who would be in the same boat in terms of being remembered for content because of the knowledge they possessed and they just didn't have the platform because social media wasn't a thing back then.
Yeah.
And, Joe obviously had a phenomenal physique, but he was lean year round. So, health problems with that, but he wasn't doing all that well when he would step on stage, which is wild because he has such a good looking physique in all of his pictures, videos, but on stage he would always come in with a weird package and it would never work out well. And yet he's one of the most well-known influencers in the world. Like I always find that so interesting because, he had millions of followers. And here's a guy who I don't even think he was pro, if I'm being honest.
I think he just did a regional show or something like that. But the problem with Joe is that he has a very good social media physique. He doesn't necessarily have a killer stage physique. If you look at him on stage, a lot of his physique is kind of washed out. His posing wasn't 100%. His arms looked on the smaller side. So it's like, that's something I've always said is that just because you have a good social media physique doesn't necessarily mean you have a good stage physique. It doesn't translate 100%. And that was his case. 100% was he had a great physique for photos and editing and all of that and great overall just aesthetics. And that's why he's called Joe Aesthetics. But when you stepped on stage, it doesn't translate the same way. And a lot of that goes into a stage result is peaking properly, proper water intake, training styles. Like there's so much that goes into a show that doesn't go into social media besides just being lean. Like it's easier to be lean for social media than it is to be lean for a show 100%. And I'll stand by that for the rest of my life. Because you can edit videos like fucking crazy.
I was
But you
going to say
can't.
that the editing side alone for social media could knock off all sorts. Like, I can edit a picture right now and have visible abs if I went to town on the editing. And
Yeah,
I only have visible abs if I do like a front ab quad pose right now. Like,
yeah, yeah,
that's,
exactly. Just the filters, even just filtering alone, like just editing the colors, the sharpness, the shadows, stuff like that, will change your physique entirely. Even when I post, I edit my photos a little bit. 100% honesty. I turn up the sharpness a little bit and turn down the shadows because, or not the shadows, the brightness because um, I use my iPhone for photos and I use a live photo feature and it ends up like being super fucking bright and like super dull. Like it notices that it's taking a photo of a person, so it smooths you out. So I turn up the sharpness to kind of counteract that. And I also turn down the brightness because it's so bright. I try to make it as close to reality as possible for my photos. And what ends up happening is, like, I've heard from my coach that I look better in person than I do in photos, and that's the goal. I want to have a good stage look rather than a good social media look. But if you want to make money in this industry, you have to have a good social media look, or at least a good social media following. And I think, remember how I was telling you stuff? I couldn't figure out what it was, but there's something I didn't like about Joe Aesthetics physique. There was just something that was just off to me. I figured out what it fucking was after seeing so many photos of him around. His arm going from his shoulder to his elbow is extremely long. So when he does a front double, his elbows are super far out. Um,
yeah.
and he has very high lat insertions. So that's the problem that I've had with personally his physique. It's nothing you can do. It's just genetics. It's just his bone structure and the way his lat insertions are placed. Like his lats aren't even inserted until like the top of his like sternum. Basically, it's like where his sternum starts is where his lats are. It's just how his lat insertions are. It just is what it is. But besides that, I mean, he was very, very lean year round. And somebody who's similar to that is Tristan Lee. And he had to call it because he was on a carnivore diet essentially for 2 years straight to stay lean and have like no carbs in his system. But he has to basically focus on his longevity now because he fucked his whole system so bad for multiple years that he has to take it back a notch now. And look who's not getting posted anymore. Tristan Lee.
Yeah.
So it's just the social media world is just not a fun world for a lot of guys. You got to be on top of it all the time. It's a constant battle. And you got to choose whether you want to have a good stage physique or a good social media physique. And there's really no in between. So it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
And certainly going to be someone that we remember. But we had nothing we can really do about it at this point. Just, but I mean, I was posting about him like crazy.
Yeah.
And my For You page is literally just him.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. So we just have to move on. And, I trained extra hard this week because of it.
Yeah. I mean, what's funny is that, not really funny, but what's interesting is that even like meme pages I follow that have nothing to do with bodybuilding were posting about him. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Like just general meme pages were just posting about Joe's death. I'm like, that's crazy. Like I didn't realize how much of a reach this guy had.
Well, at the same
Now.
time, everybody always tries to point flaws in bodybuilding because of what they know, like what we do, what we eat, what we like take nutritionally. So there's always people trying to poke holes in it.
That reminds me of that fucking post I shared on Facebook. Do you remember? Did I send that to you? I think I did.
I don't know. I hardly check Facebook.
No, I think I sent you the actual photo of it. Like I think I saved it and I sent it. I think. Oh fuck! What was it saying? Let me pull up my Facebook real quick. I'll log in. It was the most fucking ludicrous post I've ever read in my entire life. It was actually genuinely upsetting. Let me see here. So there's this post that I saw. Okay, so it says it's a meme. Not really a meme. It's just like text with a white background that says, "Eat whatever you like because the inventor of the treadmill died at the age of 54. The inventor of gymnastics died at age 57. The world bodybuilding champion, whatever the fuck that is, died at age 41. The best footballer in the world, Maradona, died at 60. And then the KFC inventor, whatever that means, died at 94. The inventor of Nutella died at 88. And the inventor of Hennessy died at 98. And it says, how did doctors come to the conclusion that exercise prolongs life when the rabbit is always jumping, but it lives for around 2 years, and the turtle that doesn't exercise at all lives for over 200 years? So rest, chill, eat, drink, and enjoy life. Fucking ludicrous. I got so genuinely angry when I saw that. Like that, it blew my mind that like people could potentially even believe that. Like that's such misleading information and cherry picking on top of that. Like I looked up, like who could they possibly be talking about world bodybuilding champion? No high level bodybuilding champion has died at the age of 41. The youngest was like 46.
Yeah,
Like we're talking like Olympia Arnold winners, like up that level.
I can't even think of any off the top of my head.
Yeah, like I was like, do they mean like Rich Piana? Are they talking about?
Yeah, I was gonna say world bodybuilding champion Rich Piana.
Yeah, I was like genuinely confused. Like, who the fuck could that have been? Like, I had to Google it, and then I looked it up. The invention of the treadmill. There's a few people that like invented it and improved it, and nobody died at 54. Inventor of gymnastics died in like her 80s, and it wasn't even like she wasn't even like the inventor of gymnastics. She was just like the inventor of like most of the moves that they use in gymnastics, I guess.
Yeah.
And then the best football in the world, Maradona. I'm pretty sure he didn't even die at 60. And I think even if he did die at 60, I think they got it wrong. It was like 61 or 62. It was also because prior to his death, like the last 5 years, he was heavily addicted to alcohol and drugs.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is so fucking insane. Like, how is this even, like, how do people even believe this? So I had to share it because I'm like, do not believe this shit. This is ridiculous. It's just mind blowing.
I think what the argument is, and not at all justifying it, but the argument that they make of like general lifestyle fitness is encouraged. And I think that is more so pointing towards the extreme high levels of any sport. Because, you know, in bodybuilding and just like in any other sport, the way people push their bodies is not always necessarily healthy. And I think that's more so their argument. Again, not justifying it at all, but just saying that could be their potential mindset there.
Yeah, I mean, it's they're also talking about like it says like rest. What's they say? So rest, chill, eat, drink, and enjoy life. You absolutely can, but it's been proven time and time again that exercise prolongs your life and allows you to enjoy a more enjoyable life. Essentially, there was something recently that I saw. It was some sort of news broadcast, and it was like you have a 40%, or it's like 40% of Americans are dying sooner because of hard exercise or some shit like that. And all three photos in the news post was of like morbidly obese people. And I'm like, I'm confused. Are they morbidly obese or are they hard exercising? I'm like, what is the actual contributing factors here? And it's just so misleading.
It's like, have you ever, there's a, who was it? Andrew Schultz on JRE about,
oh yeah,
fat models.
Look at me. Yeah. Yeah, no, he's 100% correct about that. There's a thing that you got to earn, and that's a problem. I think plus size it can be a problem. It can be very misleading. I understand wanting to represent different body types, but also like they're literally using like morbidly obese people as models, and I'm like, you cannot. This is not a model. This is not something you should model things after. Like that's what it stands for. It should be representative of something. Essentially is what a model means. So a model for a swimsuit should not be so large you almost can't even see the swimsuit.
Yep.
You know, that's a problem. You're setting a wrong standard.
God forbid we take care of our bodies.
Yeah. I mean, I never say to do what I do. I'll admit that all day long. But like, I don't know. It's fucking frustrating, but it's just a little tangent there because I saw that and it just blew my mind. Like I got so genuinely upset. But the other thing we want to talk about today too was talking about body temperature regulation and how your body regulates its temperature through exercise and through different heat temperatures. Because right now it's July, it's the hottest time of the year. Essentially, same with August.
But Paul, how does my body regulate its temperature when it's hot outside?
You sweat. Well, there you go.
What?
That's how you lose
What
your
is sweat?
electrolytes.
What is sweat,
So
Paul?
yeah, so sweat is
We're doing a
essentially
4 kids edition.
yeah, for kids. What is sweat? It is not sweet. It is sweat. So sweat is your body's way of cooling down. So when you're sweating, it's because your body's too hot, and it needs to cool itself down. That's why when you exercise, you want to drink more water. You want to have electrolytes because when your body sweats, it uses up electrolytes within that sweat. Salt is one of them. That's why you take salt, ideally during or before a workout, and supplement it in ideally whenever you can. That's why Liquid IV has a lot of salt. Gatorade has a lot of salt. Actual Gatorade has a lot of salt. Not like the sugar-free shit. Don't get the 0 calories. Don't get the 0 sugar or whatever Gatorade. There's no point in that. It's just
Yeah,
flavored water.
there's no carbs. Like there's nothing in it.
It defeats the whole purpose of it. It's like flavorless soda. It's like, why even buy it? It's just carbonated water. But yeah, so don't get that. But like that's why salt's in there so that when you're sweating, your body replenishes what it needs. So sweat is what happens when your body is overheated. It's cooling itself down with a layer essentially of liquid. And then when you have the opposite end, when you're cold, you don't want to sweat. Cold sweat's not a good thing. That means your internal temperature is hotter than your external temperature. So in the case that you live in a colder climate like New England, when you're out in the snow, when you're driving quads or snow shoveling, whatever, snowmobiling, whatever it is, whatever you're doing outside in the cold, you want to avoid sweating as much as possible because all you're going to be doing is using up energy that your body has, using up electrolytes, and really you're not actually cooling anything down because your external temperature is already cold enough. So you're just using up useless energy. So if you're outside in the cold, you don't want to sweat. You want to prolong that. So take it easy, take it slow. And if you're hiking or something in the cold, layer up, obviously, but avoid that sweat. So that's essentially what your body does to cool down. So we want to talk about that because we're both training in gyms that don't have, or like I'm training in a gym that doesn't have AC. I don't think the other side has AC, correct? Stuff.
What, Empire? No,
Yeah,
they
doesn't the other
just have
side?
a second garage door. Yeah.
But does the main gym have AC?
Nope, we just have one of those big overhead fans, and then a couple
Yep.
smaller, basically those not box fans, but those industrial circular ones.
Uh-huh.
Um, and that's basically all we have. The actual cafe area outside is AC'd, but that's it. So it's like when you step outside to get a drink of water, your body just gets hit with a wall of air.
Cold air.
Yeah, cold air.
Yeah, so we're both training in gyms. One of the gyms I go to has AC, the other one doesn't. So we're both training in gyms that don't have AC. And one of the things you want to do, or really don't want to do, is you don't want to wipe the sweat off, ideally, because that's what's cooling you down. When you wipe the sweat off, you get hotter because the sweat's cooling you down. So there is a common misconception where you should bring a towel, wipe off your sweat, whatever. That's not the truth. What you should really do is just wipe off the machine because you're fucking sweating all over it. And just trust that the sweat is what's cooling you down. As far as how your body does it, your excuse me, your bodily temperature is regulated by your hypothalamus in your brain. It checks where your current temperature is at and making sure that it's normal, which is around 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. That's why, like, when you get like a cold or something, you want to check your fever. If it's higher than 98.6, obviously you're hot and your hypothalamus is not regulating its body temperature properly, so something is blocking that connection. That's essentially what a fever is elevated temperature because your hypothalamus is not regulating it. There are conditions elsewhere as well that some people may experience without realizing it. One of them is called hyperhidrosis, where your hypothalamus thinks that you're hot even when you're not. So you'll start sweating even when you're not actually that hot. It's very common, actually. It's not really that uncommon. And what ends up happening is the second your body starts doing any sort of exercise, you end up in a sort of a warmer area. your body thinks, holy shit, like your hypothalamus is like, holy shit, we're hot as shit. We got to start sweating. And all of a sudden you're drenched in sweat, even though like you're fine. So that's what hyperhidrosis is. And if you have that, you need to make sure that you're taking in more electrolytes, more water to replenish the sweat that you've been sweating when you're not even really hot. So that's another issue that a lot of people face and don't want to address. But if you can address it, if it's something that you think you have, you can go to the doctors and get it checked out. And I believe there is treatment for it. Let me check to see what the treatment exactly is. There's a video I saw on, I think it was TikTok or something, talking about it, where she's like, I came out, she was a horseback rider and she went into her barn and she said, I've been here about 30 seconds and her sweat was dripping off her eyebrows. She's like, I just walked in here. And that's what hyperhidrosis is. It's essentially excessive sweating when you don't need to. So it's treated, antiperspirant, stuff like that is some ways to treat it. Avoiding triggers like alcohol, spicy foods. You can also try other things like iontophoresis. The weak electric current passed through water or wet pad. There's botulinum, I don't know, toxin injections and even surgery in a few cases, depending on how your body regulates it. So this is from the NHS, which is essentially Europe's FDA. And according to them, one in three, so it's anywhere from like 1% to 3% of the general population has hyperhidrosis. So it's actually very, very common to have. So in a given 100 people, anywhere from 1 to 3 people in that group have it without realizing it. I'm one that doesn't have it. I know that for a fact because for the longest time, no matter how hard I train, I don't fucking sweat. It was triggered, really. I feel like my sweat was triggered when I started on Tren because there's this thing called Tren sweat. And the second I started taking it, I was drenched every time I trained. So that's just a side effect of training. You also get cold sweats when you're sleeping. There were nights where I'd wake up and my pillow in the back of my head was soaked. Anything that was touching covers or anything of any sort was sweating. My face wasn't sweating, but the back of my head was. So that's another side effect of something like that. So hyperhidrosis essentially kind of fucks with your hypothalamus, but it's not the end of the world. Once I got off it, I only sweat when I train properly, especially with no AC. Today I trained with AC and it wasn't too bad, but yeah, so that's the gist of what we're talking about here.
Yeah, and I think a big thing that people do when it comes to sweat is that they shy away from sweating, which in the summertime you shouldn't, because it's quite literally your body focusing on keeping it's like the internal side of things on, where it should be. So there's a great example. There's a dude at Empire that I go to the gym with who he sweats even in the winter. I mean, granted, Empire has heat in the winter, so it's not like it's brick in there. But
well, that's
in the
emergency
summer,
service. You need to have heat in Massachusetts. I'm pretty sure. Right?
Yeah.
It's a requirement.
Yeah. But in the summertime, it's like a pool of sweat, and he just embraces it and does not care, because it's the cards you dealt with. However much you sweat, that's your body's way of regulating. And yeah, you can bring a towel with you or whatever for while you're in the gym, but you really shouldn't be, messing with it too much, because that's just your body's way of saying, we're good, we got you. Obviously, heat stroke and that upper echelon of, not just sweating, but heat absorbing and,
Lobster
pushing
backs.
yourself through things. Yeah.
Red coats.
Red coats. But for the most part, you want to more or less embrace it. Like, it's going to be hot. There's nothing you can do about it. Just accept it, move on, and get your work in.
Yeah. Something that you mentioned there, I wear a hat to the gym to keep the sweat out of my eyes. I wear contacts, and when I sweat in my eyes, it's very uncomfortable because of that, and it lingers really bad. So I wear a hat to kind of absorb a lot of that sweat. I don't wear like a sweat pad, like a headband or anything like that. that's just my process. But I mean, I have a little towel with me to wipe off excessive sweat sometimes, especially when I'm about to start cardio. I'll wipe it off around my ears so I can put my headphones on and they're not like drenched. So I have that with me. But when you're excessively sweating, I think it's okay. And especially if you're in the gym, I think it's almost encouraged to just leave it. Wipe it off the machines, obviously. But like if you're dripping on the floor, it's fine. People are just going to step on it. And when I'm in the gym that doesn't have AC, like I'm literally like, if I'm doing something bent over at all, like I'm literally, it's coming off my beard onto the floor. And I'm shiny as fuck in the mirror. I try to take photos of it and I can't get a good photo of it, how sweaty I am. But it's like, I put my shirt back on. So like I'll train with my shirt, I'll put it back on to like leave. I train without a shirt. I mean, I'll train for a few minutes until I get hot and then take off my shirt because my gym allows it, especially with me cutting right now. I want to see everything activating and all that. But when I leave, I put my shirt back on. By the time I get home, it's soaked because it absorbed all the sweat that I was still pouring out even when I was driving. And it is so heavy when I get home. This shirt is so heavy. And like I basically wore it there clean essentially and just took it off after like a set or two. So it was dry up until I put it on prior to leaving or really prior to cardio, depending. And then it's just soaked from there. Like my leg day shirt, because I didn't take off my shirt for leg day when I was in the gym the other day on Thursday. So yesterday actually. And it was so unbelievably soaked. It was insane. And it gets annoying too because if you have a white shirt, you'll stain it. And it's annoying. And I stain my hats all the time. The hat I was wearing earlier, if you're watching the video, the hat I was wearing earlier has white marks on it because of the salt from my sweat.
Yep.
Sticks to my black hats. And on my white hat, it's yellow where it dries because sweat has electrolytes in it and that ends up being yellow. So it's fucking annoying.
Paul peed on his hat.
It's just the edge. It's just the brim that touches my forehead. But the more I wear it, the further out the yellow gets. And sometimes my white hat would just end up yellow, but then I just wash it. It's fine. But yeah, it's gnarly sometimes. I do love training without AC though. I love it. It's way more enjoyable.
It just gives that vintage feel.
Oh, for sure. I've always wanted to try out Ronnie's gym though if I ever end up down in San Antonio for something.
Well, you know how I was saying I was training with Rob the other day?
Yeah.
I looked at him and I said, AC is the only reason why I'm not squatting 800 pounds like Ronnie Coleman was because he didn't have AC. So AC must be the inhibitor.
Yeah, that's all it is. If you take the AC away, you instantly get like 5 times the strength. That's what it feels like sometimes. But like, it's funny because the gym I train at, they have the garage doors open. There's 2 of them. And it's hotter in the gym than it is outside because there's less airflow. It's like I walk in and I'm like, ooh, damn, that's hot. It's like that meme that's going around right now. It's like, ooh, it's got a kick to it. It's like that. It's like you're walking around and it's like, ooh, it's not too bad outside. You get in your car, it's like, ooh, it's not too bad. And then you walk in the gym, it's like, ooh, got a kick to it. It's fucking hot. It gets hot in there, but I love it. I love training the heat. If it's got AC, I'm not enjoying it as much. Like today's arm day. Arms and shoulders, I don't enjoy it as much, but I'm training in AC. But chest, back, and legs when I'm training at the other gym, fucking sick.
I just enjoy it way more because not that I enjoy being doused in sweat, but it's just a more enjoyable. It's a more enjoyable experience to like have the glisten, I guess. And what you said about your shirt earlier, I literally bring a second shirt to the gym now because I train in one, and then when I go to the locker room afterwards, I'll take it off and I can actually wring it out.
Yep. Yeah,
and then I just throw on a second shirt.
Yeah, exactly. I just wear the one shirt for now at least, but if we ever increase cardio, which we might not, we might keep cardio where it is now. But when I was doing 45 minutes of fasted cardio, so like after the gym, I'd shower, put on a new shirt, and then I'd wear that until cardio was done. And then when cardio is done, I come home from my apartment gym, shower again because I'm drenched in sweat, change shirts, and then wear that to the gym. And then I come home, shower. So every day I was taking for like 3 weeks straight, or really not really 3 weeks, probably like 2 weeks straight. I was taking 2 showers a day and wearing 2 sets of clothes a day because that's how much I was sweating, which is
I have to go through I have to go through one pair of shorts for every training session. I can't rewear shorts at this time of the year
Oh,
because
really?
I just sweat through them, and then either if they're a light color pair of shorts, the rust from the plates that
Yeah.
I just wipe my hands that all of my white shorts are stained, but I cannot wear a pair of shorts more than once in a row because they get a little gnarly.
Yeah, especially when I'm training at the other gym. Like, it looks like I peed and pooped myself because I just have so much sweat in my shorts. Like, if I wear tan shorts, which I do, there's one of my favorite pairs of shorts is tan. They fit really well. And I'll wear that to the gym and they'll be like brown when I leave because of just the difference in color from the sweat. It's crazy. But if I'm sweating a lot in them, I don't wear them twice. I only wear them once. Then I have to obviously, change them out and wash them and whatnot. But I have enough shorts to get me through any sort of day. But on top of that, what was I going to add to that? What I was going to add, I forget. But yeah, and that's why my shoes also fucking reek too, because I sweat all the way down into my shoes and then probably on my feet as well. So like my bodybuilding shoes that I'm actually wearing right now, my riderwear shoes, I have a couple pairs. They both reek so bad because of the sweat. It just builds up. It just builds up. And even if I wash it, it's still pretty bad because my soles, the insoles, just hold right onto it, right onto that smell. It's so
I've
gross, but
been
nothing you can
I've
do.
been leaving my gym shoes in the garage and letting the heat just kill all the bacteria, and they're basically dry. Like it's like what's the best example? Well, I can't make that example on the podcast, but like basically they're stiff when I get to them in the morning because the heat
Oh
has just
yeah,
compacted it together. And I'll take that over. There was one day last week where I forgot to do that. I left them in my gym bag and I went to the gym the next day and I literally slid into the shoe because of
ew.
all the sweat was in there.
Yeah, they're still built up. My legs, my knee sleeves are like that. If I leave them in the bag and I sweat profusely, which I actually forgot my knee sleeves recently, which sucked. But if I have my knee sleeves on and I'm sweating like crazy to them and they're in my gym bag, the next time I wear them, they're cold from the sweat from the previous week. It's still kind of damp. It's gnarly.
Yeah.
It is gnarly as shit. But yeah, I remember when I was growing up when I did deck hockey, all of my pads in my bag, my pad bag or whatever you want to call it, my hockey bag, just smelled so bad. It just really reeked because it just built up and built up, and we just never washed it until the end of the season, and it was fucking gnarly. So that it just kind of reminds me of that a little bit. It's fucking gross, but I do love sweating. I love to sweat. I love being covered in sweat. I don't know why. I just think it looks better. Like I feel like I look better full of sweat and shiny and shit than I do without sweat and just dry. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, the best gym pictures I think come out when you've got sweat. Like I don't know,
Yeah.
they're certainly the coolest.
Yeah, definitely. And it'll like, especially if you like take a photo and like increase the sharpness or something on it, it looks more defined because you have like water on you that like it looks like it's adding
you
definition.
you sharpen it to the point where you can see the beads of sweat.
Yeah, yeah, you could see the individual drops and the individual hairs. You can count the fucking hairs on the screen. Just tons of sharpness and tons of definition, just like turned all the fucking way up. But it's crazy. Like I still see a little tangent here. I see guys putting such heavy filters, like heavy fucking video filters on, and they're like getting ready for the show. I'm like, dude, that doesn't even remotely look like you. Like that filter is so strong on that video. You're not fooling anybody. To show like a little recording symbol in the left with like the timestamp, like that's the filter. Like it'll have like a recording timestamp and it'll like turn up the brightness outside of them and turn up their sharpness. And I'm like, dude, that filter is so strong. Why even use that? And then like fucking like the team and like gyms and shit will share it and they're like, he's looking crazy. It's like, dude, it's the filter doing half the fucking work. Are you shitting me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's annoying, but
it
mhm.
yeah, and I think that's kind of why working out in the wintertime is oddly satisfying too, because you're in there with like an oversized hoodie, you're in there with baggy either sweats or even shorts, and then maybe some compression underneath, but basically it's oddly satisfying to work out with that, because then you have like your pump cover, nobody sees what's going on, and then you do the reveal. I like when you take off your
Yeah.
sweatshirt and the gym goes silent or something like that.
Yeah, it's like C-Bomb when he took off his sweatshirt. Because the
Yep.
Olympia is like in December, so you end up wearing it during the winter. Especially in Canada, the winter starts in like fucking September, dude. So like he's wearing a sweatshirt most of the fucking year. Now that he's in Florida, it's a different story. But yeah, no, I like lifting. It's weird because it's like I like lifting with a hoodie or starting with a hoodie and then tearing it off and like having this like reveal. But like I've never had. Looking back, I feel like I look like an idiot showing off like the most fucking mid physique when I take it off. Just like full of fat, like skinny fat bullshit. I'm just like, yeah, this is who I am.
I used to do it at Planet Fitness when I was there. I'd be wearing like my Nike basketball tank top underneath, and not even like a cutoff or anything.
Yeah, not even like a stringer.
I'd stand around and be like, "Yeah, this is me. What's up?"
I mean, if you're in the gym for 2 fucking weeks, you look better than most people in Planet Fitness.
The pump cover reveal in PF hits different for the endorphins.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, especially considering the general population of Planet Fitness. And that's what sucks too about going to this new gym, the other gym in university, is that the fucking level of person is just next level. Like, I feel like the smallest fucking dude there when I go there. It sucks. But it's also kind of driving in a way too, because it makes me want to work harder because these guys are bigger and leaner than me. A lot of them are prepping for shows because it's show season right now, but they're also bigger too. And I'm just like, fuck. Like I got to really push it. But yeah, it's interesting going from one gym that's has a different focus than the other gym. Like I feel like tough shit when I'm in one gym because the general person is just like average. It's like the average person goes there, where the other gym's like, you got to be like a bodybuilder to go because otherwise you don't like it. You won't like it if you're not. It's the atmosphere, the type of atmosphere, the heat, the rust on the, like I wore a white shirt a couple weeks ago for leg day, and the rust rubbed off on the white shirt when I was carrying the 100-pound plates onto the machine because they have 100-pound plates for legs, for like some of the leg equipment, like the leg press and stuff. And it's like you gotta be fucking like crazy to like enjoy that shit. Otherwise, you just go to a commercial gym that's a lot prettier and clean. You gotta like the dungeon. You gotta like the torn up carpet and shit. You gotta like the duct tape on the equipment. It's a good stuff.
We have a couple broken machines too, and it's like that adds to the atmosphere. Like you almost don't want to fix them because it's just part of the vibe.
Yeah, if they're weirdly like some of them are also like some machines are so old they have like a personality to it. There's like if it's like on a rail, it'll have like one spot that's like a little grindy, and you know exactly where that is. Like the cable at the other gym that has the AC, there's a spot where the plastic like kind of wore off from the actual metal wire on the cable machine. So I can only use that machine for like shorter ranges of motion. I don't even really use that side anymore because of it, but like I use it for shorter range of motion because it'll like click when I'm lifting and it drives me nuts. So it's like some of these machines are so old, they got fucking personality and they got like wear and tear on them. And there's this one old Cybex machine in the gym, the AC one that people go to because of it. And it's like fucking numbers are worn off and shit. You don't even know how much weight you're lifting. And like, there's like rust going down the fucking welds and shit. It's awesome. But that's the kind of gym that I like.
We have the seated leg curl machine at Empire. When you load anything more than a 45 onto it, so for me a 45 is my warm up, so I don't notice it. And then when I get up to my actual, sets for the leg curls, if you go full range of motion, a ear-splitting squeak goes through the gym because it's just where the machine has seen the most tension. It's right at the top of the motion with any more weight than 45. It just lets it rip. And then, of course, it happens when you go back down, too, so it's like a double. And so sometimes if it's like a packed gym, I'll be doing like 3/4 reps just because I'm not trying to crucify the people next to me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's some that are like that. There was something at the other gym that was like that. Oh, the fucking abductor machine. At the top of it, it squeaks. It's the leg fly, like the outer leg fly machine for your abductors. At the top, you go, and then you come back down, and you go to the top, and come back down. The other thing too with that gym is that the dumbbells are bent. The handles on the heavier dumbbells are bent.
Gee.
Like that's how fucking gnarly this gym is. Like I've never seen that. I've seen like at the other gym, the one with the AC, there is one dumbbell that's bent. So I was just like, oh, maybe somebody like dropped it like diagonally or something, and it like cranked or whatever. That's the only because it's the only one. But then I go to the other gym and like all the ones above like 70 pounds they're all fucking bent. Like they're all curved. The handles are all curved. People just
tossing them after a set.
Yeah, they'll toss them and they'll land diagonally or whatever on the corner, and they toss them into the rack and shit. But they're all slightly bent. It's fucking nuts. So like when you grab it, you want to grab it at the top of it's because it's kind of like bent because it's bent down the middle where the handle is. You want to grab it where the gravity of the weight is on the opposite side of the bend. Because if you grab it from the other side, it'll flip on you. Right? Because the weight is distributed differently. It's not perfectly even. So you want to grab it in the sense that like whatever way the gravity is going, you want the curve pointing up, from gravity. So it's like, it's got this personality. You got this little kink in it you got to like work with. That's like interesting. And then like
the outdoor.
Yeah.
I was going to say the outdoor barbells at Empire. One of them has a noticeable curve to it.
Yeah.
And like I do my walking lunges, like a plate loaded barbell when I do my walking lunges, because I'm putting upwards of, 225 on it when I'm doing my walking lunges. And it'll slip down my back a little bit, and I'll do like little hop bounce to like get it back up to, where I want it on my back. And I can just feel it kind of roll over on itself.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause it's adjusting the curve.
Yeah.
Because the curve has to adjust. Yeah.
Accidentally goes up to my spine and just paralyzes me.
No. And you just like, help. I can't feel anything. Mistakes were made. I did something wrong. The chest press machine at the other gym too, with the no AC, the handles, I don't know if you've experienced this too. The grips on the handles are like torn and also rolled a little bit. So like it fucking digs into my palm when I'm doing chest press on that for like a warm up. Cause like the edge of the padding is supposed to be the whole handle, but it's only like half the handle. So when I'm pressing, the padding stops in the middle of my palm. So it's like this line that's just digging into my palm when I'm pressing. And I hate that shit, but that sometimes happens too. Or like if, like a grip on like a chest press or whatever machine it is, or back machine slowly starts coming off and the end is kind of like flimsy. And you can't really push it back up because it requires so much force. Like that shit's annoying too, but that's just part of the personality. You just gotta make sure that your hands are properly on the machine rather than on the grip itself. That's something you got to think about too. Sometimes I don't even realize I'm thinking about it until I hit it. And I'm like, oh fuck, I got to adjust my hands. But yeah, that's interesting. You're like, oh fuck, the grip is fucking me up. But yeah, I like the personality, but and the no AC and all of that. Got to regulate your body temperature properly. If you guys do have hyperhidrosis and you've tried other avenues of not sweating so much, and you're taking in plenty of electrolytes and water, then go see a doctor and see what they say. Your general practitioner is plenty. Your PCP, whatever.
May I recommend Trends? You can sweat more.
Yeah. Just take Trends. You get Trend sweat.
Yep.
And then I was talking. Oh fuck, who was I talking to? I was talking to someone in the gym. And they asked me about Tren because I told them I took it. And they're like, you ever get Tren cough? And I was like, no. And I said, if you got Tren cough, you're a fucking idiot. And he's never taken Tren, so he didn't take it personally. He's like, why is that? And I'm like, because you don't know how to pin. I was like, if you get Tren cough, it's because you pin directly into your vein. If you pin directly into the muscle, which you're supposed to do, the intramuscular, you won't get Tren cough. So that's something I just wanted to mention real quick. But yeah, Tren sweat is fucking no joke. It is no joke. Even in the AC, I'm drenched. It's dripping off me. That's when I stopped wearing a shirt. It was actually because of Tren. I would wear a stringer and it would just get cold and heavy. And and I just take it off. I'm like, fuck it. I'm just going to take it off because I'm just sweating so much. I'm just sweating through it. And it's just getting annoying. So I just would take it off. And that's why I started training without a shirt. And the gym doesn't care. Now the gym cares. The fucking owner of the gyms, he's like 300 pounds, like muscular dude. Like he's like men's open, fucking huge. So like they don't care. So it's pretty sweet. And posing and all that, they don't care about that. So that's the reason why I started training without a shirt, is because of trend sweat. Like I said, is no joke. That's really the biggest side effect I got from it, minus the occasional like overthinking. Really is what it comes down to, is like overthinking and scenario generation in your head. But it's fun nonetheless, and you get good results from it. At least I did. So
I wouldn't know.
yeah, perhaps one day down the road.
Perchance.
I mean, we're talking like over 2 years of me on anabolics, cycling on and cycling off, not like straight, but like 2 years of cycles for me to ever start trend. And there wasn't even until we started a show. It wasn't even until we had a show in place for me to start it.
No, that's my starter cycle.
Yeah, your starter cycle is 1,000 milligrams of test and 1,000 milligrams of trend. Just out the ass. Just like, well, if I'm going to get newbie gains off it, might as well go fucking balls to the wall. Might as well use all of it.
Olympia,
give me all the steroids. Yeah, for real. You're like, dude, I've gained like 10 pounds in 3 days. I'm like, dude, that's water. Look at you. You look like a balloon. You're like a water
Jay
balloon.
Cutler's bulk.
Oh, dude. Oh, fucking dirty bulk Jay Cutler. God, he looks fat. I'm like, what the fuck?
He was huge.
Lee Priest was like that too.
Biggest chin.
Yeah, Lee Priest, dirty bulk like a motherfucker too, because he was so small. He's like 5'6", 5'5", something like that. So you had to put on tons of size. So his bulks were dirty as fuck, and he got like that too. He got like fat. But then when he showed up to the show, he was conditioned to like a motherfucker. But yeah, it's Lee Priest you guys got to check out Lee Priest content. He people ask him questions. I've watched some of his content lately, and they ask him about random drugs and random training programs and how to do this, how to do that, stuff like that. And he has good stuff. Same with Dave Palumbo. Obviously Palumboism was based off his name, but Dave Palumbo has a lot of good content. His singular content his podcast shit's stupid. But his singular stuff where he talks about cycles and training and show prep and stuff like that is really good. So check that out as well. But yeah, Lee Priest and Jay Cutler got fat as fuck in the off season.
Yeah, they did. That picture just haunts me.
Oh my gosh, yeah, but he's on the table eating and he's like looking up at the camera. Oh, I couldn't even believe it was him the first time I saw that. I was like, there's no way. So I looked it up and it really was actually him. It blew my fucking mind. I'm like, how do you get that big? But he said that his main cycle when he was off season was test and EQ. And when he said EQ, I was like, makes sense. You put on a shit ton of water with the EQ. Especially if you touch a D-ball, which I think he said he tried and didn't really like it, but who knows what these guys were actually taking. That's just what they say. But if I ever get to that point, you guys can go back to these episodes and listen to what I'm actually talking about, what I'm actually taking, the real honest truth, all of that. But that's the goal one day. You guys can go back and be like, see, this is what he was taking. He was telling the truth. Like he's telling the truth now and he was telling the truth then. Because it sticks. Yeah. He's always been the same mid-physique as always.
Holding the sword.
Yeah, holding the Excalibur sword after overall. Just like, dude, I could have done better. I won the best. I got the best placing, but I could have come in better.
Yep.
You can always be bigger, be better, be leaner. Always. There's always something.
This sword is kind of mid.
This sword is not sharp at all. Actually, this is not Excalibur sword. Excalibur sword was a 2-hand long steel sword. This is like maybe copper.
No way they give you a sharpened one. It has to be a prop sword. I mean, it's going to be a real sword, like built like some kind of up iron cast or something like that. But it's not going to be sharpened or like battle ready.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be dull. But I think it is a metal sword. I'm pretty sure.
Takes it home and sharpens it. I'm going to come back better next year.
Yeah, I'm going to just chop down my competition. Get it?
Jesus.
That'd be bad. But yeah, so we'll see how this goes. Next week I'll talk about being on Trend and Master on again and how that goes and what my progress is looking like. But after all these bowel movements, man, I swear to God, if I'm above 187 tomorrow, I'm gonna be fucking livid. And I told my coach that. I was like, dude, if I'm over 187, I will be pissed. And he's like, honestly, I would be questioning things. And I'm like, yeah, for real. Like, it's bad. So we'll see what my weight is tomorrow. But I got to go eat hopefully soon. Got to take my T3 first and then eat. Got to wait 15 minutes after that and eat.
I've got another meal on the way too.
Yep. But cool. Sounds like we could kind of wrap it up here. Appreciate you guys listening. If you guys have any topics you want us to cover, any questions, email us at hghpodcast1@gmail.com. Still figuring out our issues with the HGH at hghcast.com. You can still check out our website, hghcast.com. That's still up and running, no problem. Just shoot us an email at our Gmail, hghpodcast1@gmail.com. Shoot us that, emails, questions, anything you want us to cover, whatever it is, and we will talk about it, our experience with whatever it is, and we can talk about it there.
Hell yeah, brother.
Awesome. Well, thanks guys for listening. We'll see you guys later.
All right, peace.
See you guys.